Another episode here on the channel, and if you love these, subscribe, like them, comment. Jamie Warren is joining me this time around, and I love this. Jamie's like, how long are we chatting? And I said, well, as long as you're entertaining. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I said I'd be eating lunch in 5 minutes if that's the case.
Well, welcome. Thanks for doing this. We're just trying to give some love to some of our favorite Canadian country artists, and you have a new single. We're going to chat about that
On Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day. So that's how I want to start this. Are you
See,
romantic?
no, that's what I. Yeah, when I heard we were going to do this today. Sorry, I'm interrupting, but I thought, oh, gee, Shilo wants to be my Valentine. That's nice. I appreciate that, buddy.
I wrote you a poem. It starts with roses are red and violets are blue. And then see, you're the songwriter, so you know what to do. See,
I used to like. Okay, what was the old one? Roses are red, violets are purple. You're kind of sweet like maple syrup. That's something like that.
Okay, see, I only knew a dirty version of that, which I don't think is appropriate for.
Well, you're not on radio, so you can probably tell that one.
I suppose, but I suppose I could.
Yeah.
I suppose I could. Okay, so are you romantic? You're a romantic guy?
Yes, I am. I'd have to say so. Now, you'd have to ask Angela that, but I think so. Yeah, I write songs about love, so at least I'm pretending to be romantic.
What's the biggest? And this is gonna take. I should have asked you before, or maybe sent you a note. But what's the biggest Valentine's fail for you? Something that didn't work out so well.
Oh, see now, I don't know if I have an answer, and here's the reason: is that I've always found I'm not a Valentine's Day Scrooge, by the way, but I always found that was like what everybody else is doing. So let's do it the next day or the day after or something like that. So I've never done anything. This is the honest answer. I've never done anything spectacular on Valentine's Day because it just sort of, I don't know, it sort of bothers me when somebody says, hey, you have to be romantic on this day. And I go, really? Maybe I want to be romantic the day before and after.
Can I steal that? Because I do the same thing, but I do it because stuff goes on sale the day after. But I like your reason better.
Well, see, now you're talking. It's the Boxing Day approach.
Oh yeah.
To Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can
That's
buy
gift certificates.
I can buy you twice as many things that mean I love you on the 15th than I can on the 14th.
Right. Okay, I think there's a song. We're writing a song as we talk, you see.
I love it. You've got a new song out that's kind of perfect for Valentine's Day. It just came out, I believe, last week.
Yep. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's been out 1 week now.
And tell us, did you write it yourself, co-write? What's the deal?
Well, I wrote. Now here's the segue with Valentine's Day. Angela, my soon-to-be wife, we've been together about 7 years. We're getting married later this fall, and so she was the inspiration for that song. And if you listen to the lyrics of the song and you actually knew Angela, you'd put the two and two together. Now, that said, I wrote that with Dwayne Steele, buddy of mine, and Brad James, a newer, younger artist. And so we wrote the song actually for Brad's CD. And he ended up writing a lot of songs for that record. And I actually think he kind of forgot about it. And he made a CD, and then I went, hey, do you mind if I put this on mine? And he went, yeah, okay. And so that's, in essence, I guess I kind of stole it from him.
Well, he forgot it. So I think that's okay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, right. Let's get to know Angela a little bit with the song. Here's a little bit of My Kind of Pretty from Jamie Warren. When I try so hard, baby, but you just seem to miss it. You're my hold down home country girl in the city, and that's my kind of pretty. That's pretty nice. That's pretty good. I like that. I'm kind of glad that he forgot about the song.
What was that now? Sorry.
I'm glad he forgot about the song. It just fits your voice. I like it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's it's funny stylistically, and it wasn't on purpose. It seems, I won't use the word retro because that's a weird term, but it sounds a little more country than I've ever done. Does that make sense? Like, even though it's a contemporary song,
Yep.
It's sort of country in its presentation and its sensibility, and that hasn't always been, on the top of my agenda.
Do you worry about that, being a guy who has been doing this for so long? I'm not trying to make you feel old.
No, it's okay.
I'm gonna make you feel old with a story I have in a second. But do you consciously think about that when you put out music, going, hey, I need to make sure that I'm still I sound like the new country, or do you just put out a good song and hope that people love it?
Okay. Well, the answer I'm going to give, and there's a connection with the title of the album, is D, all of the above. And I'll get back to that one. It is all of those things. I pay attention to what's out there, but I don't necessarily cater directly to it. When I suggest to new artists or younger artists, as they're making a record, my biggest suggestion, and it is, I guess, in some ways, the minor complaint I have with today's country music, and it's the sameness. And all I'm going to say is, see, I've never been a traditional country artist, so I like it. Bring on the pop music. Bring on the internal rhymes. Like the triple phrases. I like that. I find it refreshing. You lose me when it's all the same. Mm-hmm. So I like a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right. And so all that said, I believe when you make a record, if we can still make those albums, even though it's on a CD, okay, sure, pick 4 or 5 songs that are down the center, what you want, but give me something on the left and right. Be creative. Have some fun. And that's where, too, like the Grammys, here's a segue, not to overuse that word today. The Grammys are quite a dichotomy of different styles and genres of music. And sometimes people watch that show. Yes, it is too long. But sometimes you don't like all the different styles of music. If I'm mentoring a country artist, I want them to watch that show. I want them to see what other people in other genres of music are doing, because you might get an inspiration. You might hear a guitar riff or a cool drum loop that you can take that and apply it to what is country music. And I just, diversity, man. I change it up. Don't make it all the same. And so to answer your question, I do listen to what new country, and every once in a while it actually opens doors for me, because now I can be a little more poppy or creative that I may have held back on that in the past, right? And the irony to it is, I think this record, All of the Above, is probably the most traditional project I've ever put together. And I'm not going to mislead you in thinking if you buy this record that it's going to sound old-timey country. Yeah. That's not it at all. I'm just saying that it's not as sort of contemporary and poppy as some of my records have been.
You take, I think you might have the crown. You have the you're in the lead when it comes to best vocabulary on this YouTube channel. Dichotomy. That's good. Sorry. That's a good.
Well, obviously, thank you for teasing me.
When's that going to be in your song?
Hey, that I once used cavalierly.
Wow.
There's psychobabbling. There's another word. I used a multisyllabic term once, which I was very impressed with. That's just a bit of inside joke with writers, is when you can use big words. I think it's just sort of kind of fun and cool. But I do believe if you're going to be a writer, this is the thing, is that with songwriting, people often think that you just sort of follow to bed and you are a songwriter. You can play an instrument, you are a songwriter. Any other kind of creative writing, right? You go to, if you're going to write in print, you're going to journalism school. If you're going to be a novelist, you're going to have a literature degree at university. Like, you go to school to study how to write. And I wish more songwriters knew that, or knew people addressing the circumstance, because your vocabulary is your ammunition, right? If you don't have a vocabulary, how in the heck are you going to write a song?
That is so incredible.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to use those $10 words to confuse people, because here's the other complex strategy, is that you need to find words that sing well. Sometimes you have a line in a song and it makes total sense. It's brilliant. It describes exactly what you want to describe, and you can't sing it worth a crap because it's got awkward vowel sounds and stuff. So you've got to pick words that work with the voice as well. So sometimes you have to dumb down your lyric choice to help the singer pull it off, you know.
I want to take you back. You were my first. I think we've talked about this at a bar maybe a few times.
Oh, here we go again. See, we're going back to Valentine's Day. Be careful.
No, you weren't my first for that.
Oh, okay. I was your first interview. Is that what you're going to say?
Yes. Yeah. And you've mentioned him a couple of times. You were touring with Dwayne Steele, which never happens, right? You guys never do that.
No. Never.
And you were playing Sussex, and you stopped into Moncton, and I was doing a fill-in, and I was told like an hour before my shift, hey, by the way, you're filling in today. Oh yeah, and Jamie Warren is coming by. And I had never done an interview before, and I remember going, what am I gonna do? Anyway, you made it easy.
You were great.
Yeah.
So we pulled it off.
We both done a lot of things since then. Celebrated a lot of Valentine's Day since then. But that was I always remember that. Everyone's like, what was your first interview? Do you remember? And it's a little trivia. It was Jamie Warren, just so you know.
Wow. Well, that's cool. Yeah. We talked a little bit of that in the past, and that's a cool story. I like that.
Okay, so you got something pretty cool going on. Not only the record, and is now because I don't research much. The record's coming out.
Yeah, it is available now.
It's okay.
You can download it on iTunes.
You can get it. Okay.
And I'm just starting to do some CD release parties in my neck of the woods. Okay. In KW and in Hanover, my hometown.
KW makes Kitchener-Waterloo sound so much better.
Hey, I've been here with a little jump over to Dutton, which we can have a geography test on that later. I've been in KW for about 25, 30 years.
Yeah, and it's a great area. But just KW makes it sound like it's like the most happening spot. Like forget about the 6, right? You've got the KW now. That's better.
KW. Yeah, exactly. See,
K-Dub.
It is. We like to call ourselves cool. I'm not sure anybody else around here thinks we are.
Cool with a K.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, but we're only an hour from Toronto, so we're close to the big city. If you want to go there.
Are we getting money from the KW tourist people? We should. I think we should reach out right now.
I think so too. That's a good pitch, and also my Tim Hortons. I've got to love what to hear. I'm showing my.
There you go. Did you? Are we gonna roll up that rim live here on the video eventually?
Oh, you know what? I won today.
Did you?
This is technically a free coffee.
Oh, buddy. Now if you can double that up, if you can win a free coffee on a free coffee, you're like the man.
Oh, I never thought of that. Here, I'll tell you what. Hang in there. Yeah, go ahead and keep talking, and I'll.
Oh, okay. I want you to talk about your Stories and Songs tour that you're doing.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to make a sad face.
Oh, no, you get to play again. It's not sad. It's positive.
Yeah, exactly. I know. That was. That was my post. I said, obviously, Tim Hortons loves my new music because they want me to keep playing it. So.
That is great.
Yeah, they keep telling me to play again.
Oh man. That is great. Okay, so tell us about your songs. Yeah, your stories and songs.
Yeah, it's something that I did not invent. It's from the old-fashioned guitar pull, and that where multiple artists would get up on stage with acoustic guitars. It's very common in Nashville, and artists will get up and share their new songs. Now, what I've done is it's called Stories and Songs, and I'll get iconic Canadian artists. This last year we had Bev Mahood and Dwayne Steele and myself. The year before it was Charlie Major, Patricia Conroy, and myself. And then I had Steve Wilkinson and Gil Graham the year before that. And what we do is we do shows together. Like we run anywhere from 3 to 7 shows together, and it's an acoustic presentation. We're all on stage at the same time, talking about where the songs came from, how we wrote them, and then we tell stories about each other. It's you get a chance to hear hit songs that you will remember, and will make you laugh. It's a funny, because we've known each other for a long. You were teasing me and Dwayne like we've known each other for. Jeez, I've got a great story about Carolyn Dawn Johnson if you want to hear it. It's connected. I just blew the punchline. I just realized, but
okay.
That came from I met Dwayne and I were on the same label. He was signed to Mercury in Canada, and I was on Mercury through River North and Nashville. So about mid '90s is when we became buddies.
Wow.
Same label. So I'm down in Nashville, and Dwayne says, "Hey, do you want to come out for a beer?" And I said, "We went to Exit Zero, something like that." And I didn't know Nashville very well. So we hung out and watched the band and chatted, and he said, "I've got a friend coming out. I hope you don't mind. She's new to town, and she's from Alberta." And he introduced me to her. It was Carolyn Dawn Johnson. And she hadn't had any, like, she had just had Sheila Wright start to record that big hit that she had. And that was the start of her career. She hadn't recorded any records yet.
Wow.
Great super artist, like, and a great gal.
I bet you that happens a lot in Nashville, where like you'll be, you or someone will be down there and like, oh yeah, we ran into so and so at a bar, and then 15 years later they're putting out hits, and they're, that's crazy.
Yep. Well, you know what it is, and I say this, I guess we're sort of creating a mentoring show today, but what I suggest to any new and young artist is hang out, like just hang out, and because again, everybody starts to a certain extent at the same, not the same time, but at the same level, right? And so it's your networking, it's your group of folks, right? And so as you become friends and somebody has some success, they'll always reach back to the people they feel comfortable with and know, right? And then you're in a circle of friends. And so that's what I met, like, Michelle Wright and I we'd have a beer together every once in a while. This is back in 1983. She was based out of Chatham. I was based out of London at the time. And we just became friends because we'd bump into each other. We're the same age. And of course, wait, let me rephrase that. Michelle is way younger than me. She'll want me to say that. But we were around the same age. How's that? And but we started at the same time. And that was our group of pals. So to continue the story, the CCMAs this past year in Hamilton, I had a really enjoyable hour at the upstairs in the lounge, and at the two tables we were sitting at was Michelle Wright, Michelle and her mom, and it was Patricia and Bob Funk and Charlie Major, Bev Mahood, and this was the crew that we were just sitting around laughing and joking. And Jim Witter popped in.
Wow.
Sat with us too, and we've all known each other for, I don't know, Shilo, well, Michelle and I have known each other for 30 years. But most of us have known each other for about that long. And we were all Brett Kissels at the beginning, like we were all in our 20s and all I don't know, just new and fresh.
It's really all about your friendships and who you continue to support and to be with, right? And I love that you're mentoring new people. I think anybody who's maybe thinking about getting into the business, or you're just starting out, always reach out to someone like Jamie, because you don't have to reinvent it, right? Like, you don't have to. You can learn a lot from the people who've done it before. So.
Yeah, I think that to pay it forward, pay it back, however you want to pull that one, I think is very important. I think that's what I believe. And as I say that, I was mentored by wonderful people. In terms of music, I would say, here, let me go back. Like, I had great high school teachers in English, Mr. Butson and Mr. Iserman, I won't ever forget, and my art teacher, Mrs. Stanley. In terms of the arts, really helped me appreciate art, and also not feeling embarrassed or that was my specialty, that was okay to be good at artistic thing and not particularly good at math. They really helped me. Then as I got through college, and then I moved to Memphis, and Joe Mulheron was a huge part of that. He was part of the Memphis Horns, and he still is a good friend. And then Rick Hutt. Again, all these older guys, and I won't call them like a second dad, they were more like older brothers, and they took their time with me, and I learned a lot from them at a time where did I have some talent? Sure, but I needed some I don't know, evolving, and the information and the time they spent with me made a big difference.
Well, I can tell. I can tell you're spending a lot of time with some of the younger generation coming up, but you're still making music, and you can grab
Yep.
Jamie's new album. Also, the new song "My Kind of Pretty" is perfect for Valentine's Day. I would put that on tonight at some point. You know,
Cool.
send it to somebody. That's a good idea. And we'll look forward to you maybe taking the stories and songs tour national at some point because I'd like you to come visit.
I'd like to come back out to the East. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a run out there.
Hmm.
I went to, my son was singing in Prince Edward Island 2 summers ago, and I ran out there to catch his show. But outside of that, it's been years since I've really spent time on the East Coast. So this is a promise. I will make that happen. And in connection with stories and songs, that is the goal, is that we'd like to set up a run in the spring and the fall, out west, Ontario, and out east. And we just take, a group of 3 or 4 artists, and we'd run them out there. And it would be nice if we could put together 4 or 5 shows on the East Coast.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for doing this. Good luck with the new single and the new album. And if this thing had a budget, which it doesn't, I would send you a plaque for best vocabulary and best use of the word dichotomy.
Well, I just
So
I want to reiterate one more thing. Is I was on with Shilo on Valentine's Day because I was his first. I really appreciate that, buddy.
Jamie, you're awesome. Thank you.